YouTube folks. But thanks everybody for joining for this information session on our upcoming New Year's Eve trip to the Everglades with cruise options you can add to it. I've spoken to many of you on the phone before. My name's David. I'm the lead travel agent for Happening Travel. I will be running the tech for this show, the slideshow, and the broadcast to YouTube. So I have asked Al, who is our escort for most of our trips, to join. Many of you have probably met him. He is a very, very, very experienced world traveler who we are amazingly lucky here at the Travel Club to have as a volunteer guide. He knows more about most places than most people have ever known. So he is going to help walk through the itinerary while I run the tech side of things. And then at the end, if you have any questions, you can ask them. If you are on a computer, there is a little text bubble on the bottom right. You can type out questions during the presentation, or if you're on mobile, there's 3 dots. If you click that, there's an in-call chat, and you can type out questions there. Or of course, at the end, you can just unmute and ask them when we get to the question and answer section. So I'm going to let Al take over and get started on the presentation. So thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, David. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy I accepted the invitation of the Travel Club to help with the conversation about this trip. One of the things I'm really enjoying about the Happening Travel Club is, as a volunteer for them, they're creating many interesting itineraries that I don't see a lot of companies do. I have quite a bit of experience in escorting. I have been to 148 countries. I have escorted to more than 100 countries. People that look exactly like that are in this meeting now. I have retired, live in the villages, and do this. It keeps me interested in traveling and enjoy it very much. Today we're talking about a very unique itinerary that is tour and cruise combined. It's called New Year's Eve National Parks, Florida Keys, and Cruise. And depending on what you would like to do for New Year's Eve and the first day and couple of days of the new year for 2027, this might be something that's very interesting for you. I have done already twice in the last 4 or 5 months a similar itinerary for the Travel Club. I would consider myself somewhat of an expert in South Florida. I lived in South Florida for a long, long time. I know Everglades National Park, Key Biscayne, Flamingo City, the southern tip of the state, and the Florida Keys very well. Dozens and dozens and dozens of times I've visited and have escorted 2 very large groups from the villages to similar itinerary to this, but unique here because of it doing it for New Year's Eve, and several things that make this a pleasant experience. New Year's Eve sometimes can be a tough experience. You pay exorbitant pricing in big hotel ballrooms, and so this is kind of an interesting way to do New Year's Eve and have a lot of fun with it. So we'll jump right into it. Next, David. So this itinerary is modular. It's what's called a modular itinerary that allows you to do different lengths of the trip. The basic length of the trip is 3 days, departing December 31st, New Year's Eve. It is $499 and does all government taxes and fees are included. Your breakfast is included, New Year's Eve dinner, and all of the sightseeing is included. All of the transportation from multiple locations, principally the villages, and then traveling south down I-75. Next. Of course, it's escorted. They've invited me to escort the trip, and I'll be with you. One of the things that we will do on this trip, by the way, is we will have at least 2 social events in the villages for this trip, whether you're on the tour itself or the cruise tour, and we'll have gatherings to get together. And so you'll have the opportunity to meet with me. I'll host them, and the other members that are traveling on the trip. You'll be in invited when you're a confirmed passenger on the trip. And we'll do that at least twice before December 31st. It gives everybody the opportunity to meet each other, introduce each other. So when we travel on the 3 days up to 14 days for this trip, you will know many of the people that are traveling with you. This is a unique feature that I very much like that the Travel Club is doing. It distinguishes them. They are a nonprofit organization, principally in the business of using travel to help their nonprofit programs, which are primarily food programs and healthcare programs for needy people, including seniors. And so I'm very supportive of the nonprofit nature of the Travel Club, and I like the personal experience that it does. They are not a travel agency, period. They're not a tour operator, period. But they do travel as an incorporation of their events. And the 2 socials that will be hosted is an example of it, hosted by the Escort. Next. The trip in its first module, which is 3 days and 2 nights, goes to Florida City. Now, if you probably many of you have been to the Keys, maybe some of you have been to the national parks. This combines all 3 together with a New Year's experience. Florida City is the farthest southern city on the mainland southern tip of Florida. It is right before the Key Largo Bridge. It is slightly farther south than Homestead, but it's very near in the same location. It's very famous for agriculture and farms. If you've gone into a Lowe's or a Home Depot in the last month with all of the spring plants and flowers, chances are they've come from Florida City. In South Florida. And we will stay 2 nights. You have a choice of accommodations. It works out very well. They're about 3 minutes apart, so it's very manageable for the Escort and the tour. The 3-star is the Quality Inn Gateway to the Keys, which is the name of the hotel. It is the top-rated 3-star hotel in southern Miami-Dade County. Very good choice for hotel accommodations. It's the one, more traditional hotel, motel-like, but very good, very clean, and on the left. If you would like, you can upgrade to the deluxe 4-star hotel that is a Hilton hotel, also very high ratings. And so depending on your choice of accommodation, the Hilton has interior rooms, the Quality has exterior rooms, but both hotels are very, very good choices. Next. Then what really sings in this itinerary is, if you would like to do more, you can. This is a very convenient way to do a cruise. And at the time of the year doing the cruise, it can be a particularly good value. These 4 ships are a special consideration that they have done for the Travel Club in conjunction with the tour. So it becomes a seamless cruise tour. It's one price for everything. And you have 4 choices. The MSC Meraviglia is 11 days. And when we say 11 days, let's make sure that we understand on the itinerary, the first 3 days are the same for everyone. Everything is done for the first 3 days for everyone. You can do just the motor coach tour, or then you can finish on the motor coach tour and continue on a cruise. So everybody is together and doing the same thing for the first 3 days of the trip. MSC Meraviglia is a very good ship. It's an Italian cruise company. I had the pleasure when the Meraviglia came out, I think in like 2017, 2018, somewhere in there, the Meraviglia asked me to come, and I was part of a dignitary group that came to see the ship in its dry dock launch of the ship in Saint-Nazaire, which is there where they build their ships in France. And they wanted my eye and other people's eyes to comment, and they wanted us to talk about it, basically, and I did. They invited me over, and I did the dry dock into wet dock launch of the ship, and then sailed around to Calais on the English Channel to do the inaugural event on the Meraviglia. Sophia Loren was the godmother. I got to meet Sophia Loren and the president of France on the launch of the Meraviglia. It is a magnificent ship. It has in its main atrium the entire length. If you've been on one of the big Royal Caribbean ships, the big 3-deck long interior, the Meraviglia really started that. And it has an LED ceiling that's the longest in the world, more than 900 feet. It is a beautiful ship. Italian doing the Caribbean for 11 days. This is kind of unusual because it's a 9-day cruise included in this, and the inside cabins at $1,099 are the inside. Of course, they're lead pricing. Outsides are available for a supplemental charge. Balconies are available for a supplemental charge, but the all-in price is $1,099, and that includes everything. Second choice is 11 days on Adventure of the Seas. That's the second picture you see there. It is doing a Southern Caribbean itinerary. And again, an unusual 9-day cruise. And they're doing 9-day cruises because of the rotation of New Year's. This year, with how New Year's falls, they have modified some of the itineraries to make these cruises work. So Adventure of the Seas is your second choice. And both of those are out of Miami. Then your third choice is the Celebrity Silhouette. Celebrity is my favorite cruise line, sailing from Fort Lauderdale. This itinerary is doing the deep southern Caribbean, getting all the way down to almost South America, the northern tip of South America on this southern Caribbean itinerary. And then the fourth choice is NCL's Norwegian Sun. By the way, I have sailed on all of these ships, and when you participate in the trip, when we have our socials, I'll be able to tell you great detail about all 4 ships. The Norwegian Sun is my favorite of these 4 itineraries. The reason this is really a great opportunity is because the tour makes boarding the ship so convenient. You're only about an hour from the terminals doing our sightseeing. It's not a big rush day like it is if you are trying to get to a ship from the Villages going to Miami or Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. This will be very easy in terms of boarding. Makes it a nice start for your New Year's cruise in early 2027. The other thing I like about the Sun when we get into the itinerary is the itinerary itself is spectacular, which I'll tell you about. All rates are included. All government taxes and fees are included in the cruises. Next slide, David. Comprehensive sightseeing is included. Everglades National Park, the Key Biscayne National Park, into the Florida Keys. All of that sightseeing is included, and the opening event New Year's Eve in Miami, which I'll talk about in a moment. You see the picture there. In my opinion, I've done many New Year's events in Florida. I've done New Year's in Los Angeles. I've done New Year's in New York. This is one of the best. And one of the best is because of the bay. Where you're going to the Bayside, which is right at the base of the bridge where the cruise terminals are. You'll have dinner there, and they have a spectacular fireworks display for New Year's Eve. Quite beautiful. A lot of people do not realize that Miami has the 3rd largest skyline in the entire Western Hemisphere. Only New York and Chicago has a larger skyline. There is 6 over 1,000-foot buildings under construction right now in Miami. Now, while we really probably don't care very much about that, on New Year's Eve, when the fireworks are being done, it makes for a spectacular backdrop. And you will be at Bayside with the dinner and the New Year's Eve event for the fireworks. Or there will be an option, if you would like, where you can actually depart from Bayside and go on a cruise and be in the bay itself. That is also a great choice for you. We don't have the details of that yet. I have done that several times myself, and that will be available in announcement later in the year. It's just too early right now to do that. But all of the sightseeing is very comprehensive. Next, in terms of meals, you have breakfast each morning in your hotels in Florida City. And of course, the New Year's Eve dinner is done at Bayside. So very inclusive in meals. Next. Of course, motor coach transportation will be departing from the villages, and there's other for those of you that might be in the meeting from other locations. There's other locations where transportation is arranged from, but the tour principally starts from the villages. Now, one of the other things that I think is great on this itinerary is if you take one of the inclusions of the cruise, when your cruise finishes, transportation to the villages is free. There's no additional charge for your transfer off of Port Miami or Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale back to the villages, and a very small charge if you are going back to other cities in Florida, just $49. That is a tremendous value benefit because round trip transfers to the port right now are around they're approaching $200. And so having that free transfer is quite a value. Private motor coach transportation. Now, in terms of the itinerary itself, day one is we travel down. We will do sightseeing at Everglades National Park. Hopefully, we will see the crocodiles, which my last trip did see crocodiles. Of course, we're going to see alligators. You're going to see so many alligators, you'll yawn and go, oh, look, another alligator. But Everglades National Park is really unique. We will travel on the famous Tamiami Trail. You'll learn about the two native tribes of the Seminoles and the Miccosukes, and it's a wonderful first day that we'll do. In the evening, of course, we'll have the New Year's Eve dinner and then the fireworks for New Year's Eve. This itinerary is different in that it is not designed to be a ballroom New Year's Eve dance party. It's not designed to do that. The focus of the New Year's Eve is the revelry at Bayside Marketplace of having seating for a very good dinner. It is a very good dinner that we're going to do. And then the live entertainment that's done in downtown Miami at Bayside and the fireworks. So this is a bit of a different kind of New Year's Eve experience and quite a lot of fun. It's beautiful. I did Orange Bowl. The Orange Bowl Parade used to be done on New Year's Eve in downtown Miami, and I've done the Orange Bowl Parade probably 5, 6, 7 times. And downtown Miami is an absolutely excellent place to be for New Year's Eve once you're in the right location. You're not in the crowds of traveling across downtown. You're in the right place for dinner and the fireworks. And all of that with the transportation is very seamless for you. Then on day 2, we'll have breakfast on the at the hotel, and we will have our trip into the Keys. I consider myself a bit of a historian. I know a huge amount of the history of Florida, especially of the Henry Flagler hotels in St. Augustine. I have stayed in all of the Henry Flagler hotels, the Biltmore in Coral Gables, the Breakers in Palm Beach, Cordova in St. Augustine. The Ponce de Leon is now the Flagler College. So lots of experience in terms of the Flagler history of the Florida Keys, and our day will be dedicated to that. Very nice, relaxing day of the Keys. And you'll learn a lot about the Overseas Highway and especially the train history of what Flagler did in the Keys and what he continued to Havana and to the Panama Canal. Then on day 3, the third day of the motor coach tour, we'll do Key Biscayne National Park. A lot of people do not realize that where we are staying, our 2 hotels are unique in that Florida City is within 10 miles of 2 different national park visitor centers. And we will go to Key Biscayne National Park, very comfortable day. One is west, this one is east. And we'll go to Key Biscayne National Park and do sightseeing there. And then after our sightseeing at Key Biscayne and the National Park, we will begin the travel back to the villages or your drop-off location. Or if you would like, you can continue, and we are going to take you to Port of Miami or Port Everglades, where you're able to board a ship of choice to continue your New Year's experience. So the first modular portion of the trip on day 3 is the component of the 3 days, and then you continue to extend, which is, in my opinion, a very fantastic experience because you take out all of the drudgery of getting to a cruise ship. Next, David. Now, in terms of the options, the first, as I told you, is Meraviglia. Now, MSC being an Italian company, the most difficult thing about MSC is pronouncing their ships. So don't worry about it at all that you mispronounce the ship. They have many, many interesting names of ships. This is pronounced Meraviglia. And it is a Caribbean itinerary. As I said, the 11-day itinerary starts at $1,099 for inside cabins. Outsides are a supplement. Balconies are a supplement. I have on this ship, I've sailed on Meraviglia a number of times, probably 3 times. And they have a yacht club that is outstanding, an all-inclusive private key access only area that has dedicated restaurant, pool, 24-hour lounge, and open bar and snacks. Quite good if you're interested in the yacht club. David can give you all kinds of information on that.
And I do
sorry,
want a quick clarification. The bus-only tour is $499. These prices for the cruises include that. So it is the cruise and the bus tour both for the $1,099.
That's right. So in this instance, thank you, David, for that clarification. The 11 days is for inside cabins, including all of the government taxes and fees, is $100 a day. Right? Everybody understood what I just said. It's $100 a day for inside cabins, including everything. The 3-day motor coach tour, including the cruise and including the transfers off of the ship back to the villages, $100 a day. It's quite a good value. This itinerary, beautiful ship too, absolutely stunningly beautiful ship. This itinerary is we call a Caribbean New Year's Eve cruise tour, because you can see in the second to last line, this is going to sail from Miami to St. Martin, St. Kitts, Nevis, St. Thomas, and Amber Cove. Now, I know we've got world-class cruisers in this meeting right now. I know that already. But this is interesting to me in this itinerary. Generally, you don't see an itinerary like this. This is only because this first week of January had to be modified to account for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So this cruise benefits from that because it's a bit of a beefier, meatier itinerary, because it's 9 days and 8 nights. And that's why they can do this itinerary that they do. Good Caribbean itinerary. And that's option 1. Then option 2 is Adventure of the Seas. Adventure is a great class of ship. This is not Icon class. This is not the brand new super large ships. This is a big ship. All of these ships that are being offered are large, but it's not Icon class. The Adventure of the Seas is Royal Caribbean. And Royal Caribbean is, this is an excellent inclusion for this itinerary. And here it does the Southern Caribbean, and a bit different in that it does Labadee in Haiti, and then it goes to Aruba and Curacao. And Aruba and Curacao are never done on 7-night cruises. Well, there's a few minor exceptions, but as a rule, they're never done on 7-night cruises. It's too far to get there. So you don't see it on 7-night cruises. You have to do it on 10-night cruises. Well, they're doing this again because of this special week of New Year's. And that's how you're able to, a relatively short cruise, 8 nights, but you're able to do Aruba and Curacao, which is right on the northern tip of South America. And again, on this itinerary, 11 days at $11.99 for inside cabin, supplement for the outside, supplement for the balcony. Includes all of the government taxes and fees. The 11 days is all turnkey with the tour included. So you're at about $110 a day for the inside. Nice value. Then the third choice is the Celebrity Silhouette. Now, the Celebrity Silhouette and the Meraviglia, I think, are very close to quality value. I do think both ships are very similar. Many people like Celebrity more than MSC. And the reason they like Celebrity more than MSC is it's more American. MSC is very Italian. It's run by the Italians. On this cruise, probably on the Meraviglia, I would estimate 60 to 70% of the passengers will be Europeans that are coming to Florida for the holidays. And most of their cruises are like that. I like that. I love the Italian European experience on the ship. But if that's not what you would like, the Silhouette is probably a better choice for you. And Celebrity is incredibly reliable. They are in the premium market, which both MSC and Celebrity are in. It delivers what it does. The itinerary for the 11 days is $16.99 for inside two lowers. And again, this very unique Southern Caribbean itinerary from Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale to Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire. You cannot do this cruise on a 7-night cruise. It's not possible. So it's a unique, again, only opportunity because of the first week of January this year that New Year's falls on a strange day. And so the cruise lines had to modify itineraries and length of itineraries to do that. And then the fourth choice, I highly recommend you look closely at. Now, I have done the Trans-Canal cruises. I've escorted probably 15 Trans-Canal cruises. If you've ever wanted to do the Panama Canal and not pay what you have to do on a Trans-Canal cruise, this is an outstanding choice with a capital O. The Trans-Canal cruises are generally 14, 15, or 16 days in length, and they sail generally from Miami or Fort Lauderdale to San Diego or Los Angeles. That's the general rule of a Trans-Canal cruise. Those cruises cruise from the Atlantic entry across the canal, exiting in the Pacific, or in reverse, Pacific exiting in the Atlantic. This cruise does not do that. This cruise has an interesting little trick. What this cruise does is sailing round trip from Miami, it will sail in and sail through the Gatun Lock, which is the largest of the 3 locks sailing between the Atlantic and the Pacific, and then into the Gatun Lake. The Gatun Lake was created in the early 19th century when the Panama Canal was dug. And so the lake was created because of the canal. It is a giant lake in Panama that is not natural. It is man-made. And this ship will sail into the canal at Colón in Panama through the Gatun Lock and then into the lake. And it will do a day there and then sail back out of the lock. The real super value of this itinerary, focusing on the Panama Canal, is it is dramatically less expensive. So as a result, because of the early January modification of this itinerary, this cruise is quite good because it is a really good value for the first week in January of this special itinerary that was created. But it gets you the exact same benefit of doing the Trans-Canal, which is the raising and the lowering of the ship when you're going through the locks. So that's the first number one reason I encourage you to look closely at this itinerary if you've just dreamed about going through the Panama Canal. Then the itinerary is very port intensive. This itinerary extensively explores in Central America, which is great. The itinerary leaving from Miami goes to Falmouth in Jamaica, then to Cartagena. Cartagena is in South America. You can cross the bridge and you're actually on the mainland in South America. So if you have not done South America, you can kind of check that off if you cross the bridge at Cartagena. Beautiful colonial city. It's one of my favorites, especially as a port stop in South America. Then to Panama, and when it says Panama, you're going to Colón, and Colón is the city on the Atlantic side. Panama City is on the Pacific side, and Gamboa is in the middle. Those are the principal 3 cities of Panama. You're going to Colón, and the ship will dock in Colón on the Atlantic side. The Panama Canal cruise through the Gatun locks to the Gatun Lake. Then you'll, after a day of sailing in Panama, you will go back to the Gatun Lake and again through the lakes, the raising and the lowering to get you through the locks. And then your next stop will be in Puerto Limon, Costa Rica. So now you're dead in the heart of Central America. Costa Rica is my favorite country in Central America. So much to see there, especially in terms of wildlife and the rainforest of the jungles. Harvest Caye is an NCL private island experience, which is quite good. This is a great beach experience for those of you that want beach and food and shopping. That's what you do at Harvest Caye. Then you go to Belize, a secondary major Central American stop. Belize is really great. I don't imagine many of you are divers, but it's a great dive destination. I'm not a diver, so it's not something I take advantage of. But the thing that I love the most about Belize is the archaeological sites. Mayan ruins in Belize that you can see in shore excursion, other kinds of things in Belize. That's the highlight of what you do in Belize. And then final stop, I know everybody is familiar because you've cruised to Cozumel. And Cozumel is a beach experience and shopping experience. Those are the two big things that you do in Cozumel. And then I just remind you, I didn't continue to make that point, but you see free or low-cost transfers are included. When you come off any of these four options and you come back to the villages, the transfers back to the villages are included for free. Makes it for a nice benefit. Next, David. One thing that I will draw attention to is NCL provides the Happening Travel Club some special benefits that are really good. On this cruise, this is an 11-night, 11, 12, 13, right. It's a 12-day, 11-night cruise. One is the alcohol beverage package. They're doing a special program for the Travel Clubs group where you purchase unlimited beverage package for $313. That really amounts on the 12 days, 11 nights to $25 a day for open bar. So you can purchase that, tremendous value. You're going to buy 2 drinks and you've paid for your open bar for the day. The other is specialty restaurants. The Norwegian Sun has many, and they're allowing you to do 4 specialty restaurants for $80. So you can use the regular restaurants or you can go to specialty. And on Norwegian, they have French, they have steakhouse, they have Chinese, they have Japanese, many. In the freestyle concept at Norwegian, you can do them for $20, which is roughly approximately half of what specialty dining would be on the ship. Then you get a $50 shore excursion credit. So any shore excursion you do with NCL, they're going to give you $50 off because you're a Travel Club member, and you're going to get 150 minutes of free Wi-Fi. So in addition to the other things, for the value of the 14-day cruise, those things are really quite excellent.
And real quick, Mrs. Cottrell asked about excursions on the cruise. Once we get you booked, you will have your booking confirmation. You will be able to go to the cruise line website to book any excursions you'd like.
Yeah, that's right. And then the last note is, and depending on how many are on the cruise, the Travel Club might operate special excursions too. It's just too early to know that. And I just draw your attention, in case you're a triple passenger, these benefits apply only to the first and second passenger. NCL has that little caveat that you have to make sure that you prepare for. Next, but it's a great benefit for that Panama Canal cruise. The $25 a day is just a fantastic value. You can make your reservations. It's 2 different deposits. If you're doing the 3-day module of the motor coach, the deposit's $199. If you're doing the entire experience of the motor coach tour and any of the 4 cruise tours, the deposit's $449. And then your final payment is at 120 days prior. Now, last thing to show you here, I know I talked fast. You can read every detail of this trip. you go to happening.travel, New Year's Eve cruise. The easiest thing for you to do is just to go to happening.travel, and one of the search parameters right at the top of the page says trip types, and just click on New Year's. And once you click on New Year's, it's going to take you right to the ability to see this trip. And it goes through every detail, every day by day experience, all of the conclusions, all of the pricing categories for the different cruises. It'll give you all of the information. It's easy to do because I know you want to look at a lot of detail as opposed to me drawing attention to you of how to do that. Next slide. Well, there we go. That's the summary of the trip. It's, I guess, the last thing that I would say to everyone in my level of travel, of the places I've gone in the world. This blips for me. Normally, something in Florida wouldn't really blip for me, but this does because the Travel Club has, in a clever way, combined 4 great features all into one trip. Even if you do the 3-day motor coach module, you're still doing 4 really interesting things in one trip. You're doing New Year's Eve with dinner included, and you're sitting right in the heart of probably the best fireworks show for New Year's in the state of Florida. You're going to Everglades National Park, you're going to Key Biscayne National Park, and you're doing the Florida Keys. Very good value in doing that. And then the 5th big feature is adding a cruise very seamlessly. I know we're all cruisers. I know we're all cruisers in this meeting, and it gives you the ability to take advantage of unique cruises that were created exclusively for the first week in January. You generally don't see this because they don't have to do that. They fall into rotations of Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday through Friday, Friday to Monday, and that's what they do, week in, week out for the entire year, except when New Year's falls on a strange day, and then they have to change everything. And that's what's happening for 2027. And the Travel Club takes advantage of that and saying, okay, let's create something interesting and unique, which is what they've done. I think it's clever, and I think you will have a very enjoyable last day of the year, first days of 2027. So, David, that's a summary. If I can help with any questions, I'm happy to do that, and however you would like me to participate now.
Mr. Petra, all of the cruise lines do have rooms available, as do the resorts. When you book, just send us that note, and we'll make sure to confirm that when we complete the booking.
One thing that I would indicate to all of you, sometimes it might be forgotten from the Travel Club explaining it. If you're a loyalty member at Norwegian or MSC or Celebrity or Royal, make sure that you, in communicating with the Travel Club, principally David, or there's a number principally David, when you start to look at it, make sure you tell them your loyalty, because whatever benefit that you're able to do booking it directly, or whoever was handling your cruise because of your loyalty, they can do that. In some instances, it'll lower your cruise price. In some instances, it gives you benefits above what I might get because I'm not in a loyalty program for the cruise line that you're talking about. So be sure and do that. And also, we often, I think the Travel Club forgets to say, I'm a big choice. Choice is king. Give me all the choices I have, and then let me decide what I want to do. Because they're focusing on the minimum inside cabin, minimum outside cabin, minimum balcony cabin, that is not all they can do. So if you have particular cabin categories that you're interested in, communicate that to David and the Travel Club for them to get you the pricing for the categories that you would like. Because they're holding group space in specific things does not mean you have to do it. And if you don't want to do that, then don't do it. And if you have special kinds of requests, the same as your loyalty program, if you're in loyalty, take advantage of every benefit that you get, and it folds seamlessly into the price of and the benefits of this trip.
Yeah, and anytime you travel with us, if you have specific mobility needs or any kind of needs like that, just let me know what the specifics are, and we can definitely take a look at that. Mr. Cottrell, for military discount, I can check the qualifiers. Frequently, the cruise line will need you to verify before things like that can be applied, but I can check. Sometimes it lets me do it. It depends on the cruise line.
If I can add for David's benefit, generally we find that the group discounts that the club has gotten because of nonprofit supersede senior discounts and military discounts. Now, I'm not saying that across the board is true, but generally that's what we have found. But it is always worth pursuing, asking that question and providing the documentation of it.
And the easiest way to give us that information, as soon as you submit your booking form, our phone numbers are our cell numbers. You can just text us your specific requirements. That way, if it's after hours when you submit the form, we'll have that information as soon as we get to your booking form. And that way we can check everything, and we'll start communicating with you to check on what's available, what pricing. We'll verify all that with you. And Ms. Verstrand, do you have a question?
Yeah, I see that you had some specials for the MSC, I think, but do you have any perks for going on Celebrity? Like the drinks package or internet or anything like that?
We can check those. They frequently have sales. Like they just had a Mother's Day sale on the drink package, and I'm sure they'll have sales for Memorial Day. The way Celebrity does it is Celebrity and Royal Caribbean, both of them. Once you book your reservation, those are added afterwards. They can't be added as part of the booking, but they run deals all the time. So I just had somebody book Celebrity with me the other day for a different cruise, and she got in on the Mother's Day deal because everything, excursions, drink package, everything, were 20% off. So she was able to get really good deals on those. So yeah, we can do that. And frequently it's better just to get it booked and then wait for the deals to come around because they do sales throughout the year.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Oh, yeah, I had another question.
Oh, sure thing.
Oh, I guess where do they pick up in the villages, and how do you handle parking being gone for 13 days or so?
If I can, because I live here, I just did in fact, this trip to Florida City for Everglades and Florida Keys. It was the first time that the travel club used Lamers, and we used Lamers as a pickup location, and it worked quite well. The travel and that's a possibility. In general, we use my experience in trips that I have escorted for the travel club. The most used in the last year has been Walmart Supercenter at $466. They do not encourage you to leave cars for overnight there. In this instance, right now, I would say the general rule is it probably would be a location where you can't leave your car. But I can tell you, I'm reading the messaging for the new season. You know, we're ending our season. May is a season. You know, we go into summer and then fall. The big season comes back for us in the villages of what we get to experience here. They're working very hard in terms of parking locations where the pickup will allow overnight. And they're in conversation with two big churches here in the villages to do that. I will just tell you broadly, because I have been involved in reading the correspondence that's gone back and forth about using the transportation centers. Out and about the villages, the club is a full recreation approved club here in the villages. But the use of the transportation center, regardless of which one, Spanish Springs or Lake Sumter or at the southern end, is virtually impossible. They are locked to very special and specific things. So you have to be creative in terms of your pickup locations. Walmart works with the travel club very closely. It's something that has worked. And I just did the experiment with lamers, and it was quite good. But more than that, for this pickup, I would imagine the travel club can't tell you yet because they don't know anything beyond that. But they are working on it.
Thank you.
And were there any other questions from anybody?
One last thing. In general, I think it should be easier on all of us of where we pick up. It is not an easy process.
Yeah, it's not easy for me either. There's a lot of politics in the villages when it comes to the parking lots, but we're working on different options, and we'll make sure everybody has the information as we get it. Yeah. Anything else?
Just talk.
I have a
Oh.
question.
Sure thing.
Yeah,
I'm assuming all the prices are per person.
That's correct.
always. Everything
Okay.
in travel, you will never see anything other than that.
Okay.
Hotel rooms, but generally it's always per person.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, David, thank you very much. And I appreciated being able to do that.
Mr. Cottrell, no, we haven't used Yankee Trails yet. I'm always working with whoever will help. We're nonprofits, so we partner with lots of companies. I've done a lot of Workman's, a lot of Lammers, a couple companies out of Orlando, but not Yankee Trails yet.
They're a very good company, though. As an escort, I can tell you, they do quite an excellent job. Okay, well, David, if we're, and I wasn't sure if that's where you were going. The Yankee Trails doesn't allow parking in this kind of environment. Yankee Trails runs the Cruise Express. And so when you're doing the Cruise Express to Everglades or to Everglades or Port of Miami, you can. But that it has limitations in terms of which ships that they do, and only for that transfer. So like in this instance, you couldn't use that because of the Motor Cruise Tour to Key West. All right. Well, David, thank you very much for allowing me to help you and talk about the trip. I hope everyone looks at it closely. It's quite unique for a number of reasons. The New Year's and what the ships had to do to make the first week in January possible for them. And as a result, I think it could be a very nice travel experience for you for New Year's Eve and early 2027. All right. Thank you, David.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us. This will be posted on YouTube. If you want to review it later, you can go to the Happening Travel Club YouTube channel, and you'll see the whole video. So then if you want to email or text us any questions that may come up afterwards, you can feel free to do that as well. Yes, puppy.